building a multifunctional church campus, a high-energy health club, or even a home by the beach. And you're now ready to make that dream a reality. So you've set your budget, and now the next step is to find the right architect. Hi, I'm Nancy Hornback reporting from Florida's East Coast. Did you know that in South Florida alone, there are approximately 200 architects from which to choose? So let me help you narrow your search. Recently, I met up with Kenneth Carlson, owner of Kenneth R. Carlson Architect BA in Deerfield Beach. A few minutes with Mr. Carlson, and I knew his firm would be a smart choice for anyone with a dream.
We're a broad-based architectural firm. I've been in Florida since 1974, functioning on my own firm for the last 16 years, and grew up as an architect that worked. I was very fortunate to work under having an architect who was a mentor that basically taught me how to design methodically and basically relaxing in front of a client, and that's been one of the key things in my field. And as I do that, the whole thing is we've been doing a lot of broad-based architecture, medical buildings, religious buildings, industrial, commercial, bank facilities, shopping centers, retail centers, and a various selection of architectural work. Tilt-up construction is an exterior, the exterior structure that is constructed of concrete slab that are actually poured on the floor, on the slab, and then tilted into place.
You mentioned you won a Tilt-Up Award. Have you won any other awards?
We've received community appearance awards on some of our buildings over the last half a dozen years. We've received the Prism Award, which basically deals with the best interior of the year this past year for doing an LA Fitness in a pre-existing building and basically taking a white elephant and turning it into something that is one of their most popular facilities in the South Florida area. When they first came in town, we were the ones that encouraged them to use Tilt-Up, and we did their first 6 major facilities down here. We've won an AOP award, which basically is an industrial building of the year, a complex of 2 industrial buildings where we actually integrated. They became a little bit more neoclassical. We actually integrated precast Corinthian columns into a Tilt-Up contemporary building and highlighted those areas. And that was back in 2001.
Since you've been in Florida for so many years, you can be considered a native Floridian now. So how important is that in terms of building codes and construction practices?
When we first started designing down in Florida in 74, the codes were a little bit, we had 2 codes, the South Florida Code and the Standard Building Code. There was an imaginary line between Broward County and Palm Beach County that decided that we'll design a little bit more intensely down in Miami and not as quite Palm Beach. And since then, we've all realized through the hurricanes that there's not much difference in those zones, even throughout the state of Florida. We try to basically, as we design a project, be very conscientious of that because, again, too, it's a scary thing for all of us as individuals that live here and architects who are responsible in making sure there's a safe building constructed and making sure that, as an architect he creates an ad hoc team. He's responsible for the structural engineer, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering of the building. So the whole thing is being broad enough to know if they're on the mark as well.
How do you generate designs?
Generating our designs, I'm still from the old school. As I was telling you how I was mentored, I will basically take and invite someone into the office and for an hour or 2 session and basically look at what they have, survey anything that input that they have as far as their design input. We'll verbally discuss a design program, and then what I'll do is I will take and sit there with them and start generating some conceptual ideas and some thoughts.
Once the design has been set, what's next?
Complete design development sketches, as I might call them, which would be basically, your elevations, your site plan, and a quick cross-section and giving them an idea where and how we want this building put together. I'll sit and meet with Steve, who's design manager and construction manager in the back, and we'll select a project architect, and the 3 of us will meet together and discuss where we're going with this project, timelines, materials, specific needs by the client, and then basically establish a team.
Do you design the inside as well as the outside?
Some staff members that are particularly talented in the interior design component. I have a group of several people that basically I should tell you a bit more about the structure as well. We have several people that are basically tenant improvement architects that basically deal on the inside components and taking the shell, and we work together and having them drawn in, and we do the interior improvements, which would consist of defining the details of the interior. And then we also have a graphics group here. I've got several guys that basically what you do is if you look around this room, all of these graphics are put together in our own office. We basically, if you'll sit with me, I'll design a sketch, I'll take it to Alex Lorenzo, who is basically our head of our graphics department there, and we'll sit with him and generate that into a 3D product so you can actually see what I promised you on this tissue sketch would look like in a little bit more realistic fashion.
What types of budgets do you normally work with?
I started my firm on the basis of doing smaller projects and then doing the larger projects. We still basically will do some small projects, and basically as the need occurs, we will do them. As we have clients that have come to us before, just because it's a small project, I won't turn that away. We will do that project, and we'll encourage the staff members to understand that's how we got where we are by doing those things. The larger projects, we do $15 million projects. Up to $20 million projects, we do $1 to $2 million projects. Usually the average is probably $5 to $7 million projects.
How do you generate business?
Our business has basically been word of mouth. The work that we have and we've received to date, we basically have had clients call us, future clients call us, past clients. A lot of our business is repeat work. We'll get recommendations from cities that are saying, they're an architect that's worked in here, maybe you might want to consider using those, which have been very nice recommendation.
How many projects have you completed to date?
Over the last, since I've been in business, probably about 2,000 projects.
What makes you stand out from your competition?
We stand out most probably more in I would say the industrial area and office area, developing those complexes. We try to do we've done some nice campuses which have been recognized as nice, and tying them into different environments. Like we've just finished a campus in Davie, which the city used as an example, saying it's a great idea on how we should design on this corridor area. Are cost effective. I mean, we're not off the charts as far as that goes. We work with clients well. We respond pretty rapidly. Part of it is experience. I've had a lot of experience in those areas that basically when I sit in front of somebody, the whole thing is they have a confidence level that they know what they're doing. So, and that might be in the market of flex office buildings, warehouse buildings, that might be in the market of small office complexes and interrelating, tying those together, because I do a lot of the site planning myself.
What is your coverage area?
We've done work in the Keys all the way up to Fort Walton Beach. We've worked concentrating on the south, I guess say 5 counties now, because right now in the St. Lucie area we have 7 projects actively going up in there, which are of substantial size, and our goal over the next year is to open a satellite office there.
What do you see for the future of Kenneth R. Carlson, Architect, PA?
The future of our firm is the desire that it not just become a place for our guys to work, but a company. And the whole thing is that working on doing some retreats for the office and generating a firm that will pass me.
What do you love most about what you do?
Interaction with clients as I sit with them in that initial stage. And yesterday was an example where I was, just prior to the meeting, diligently putting things together for him, and then basically having these elevations freehand and ready to go and show him, and then all of a sudden having him say, that's really what I like.
Since 1989, Kenneth R. Carlson, Architect, PA, has been creating architectural spaces that are satisfying to those who develop them, those who use them, and the community at large. And that's something you can really build your dreams on. I'm Nancy Hornback for Close Up on America's Business.